What if your biggest weakness is actually your greatest strength? You know, we've been taught to hide our flaws, but what if that's exactly what's holding us back? You know, if you think about it, guys, in today's world, vulnerability is seen as, I guess some people see it as a weakness, but it's actually the foundation of real strength. When we embrace our imperfections, and you know, we all have them, we make room for connection. We make room for healing. We make room for, you know, deep lasting change. Think about that for a sec. Perfection is an illusion. And, you know, if you're one of those people that chase it, you know, it's going to drain your soul. And we tend to exhaust ourselves trying to look perfect. Hello, look, maybe act perfect. And some of us even try to make like we have it all together. But behind the mask, it seems today we're just afraid, we're anxious, and I guess you could say we're disconnected. The truth is, think about this for a sec. Freedom really does come when we stop performing and just start being real. Here's a question for you. What if I told you that the relationships you crave can only happen when you drop the act? You see, vulnerability invites people in. Really does. When you're honest about your struggles, your fears, your doubts, you know, you tend to create a space for other people to do the same. That, my friends, is how real love and real trust is born. There's this guy, Brené Brown, says vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation. It's the birthplace of creativity and change. Well, why would he say that, Mark? Well, because it demands courage. It says, this is me, flaws and all, and it sort of dares the world to see and love us anyway. That kind of bravery transforms not just you, but everyone around you. Think about that for a second. All right, let's flip the script here a little bit. Vulnerability isn't, it's not weakness. It's strength in disguise, I guess you could say. Think about it. It takes more guts to admit fear than to fake confidence. It really does take courage, or takes more courage to say, I need help, than, you know, to try to pretend that everything is fine. Vulnerability is spiritual strength in action. I'll say that again. Vulnerability is spiritual strength in action. Hey, you ever wonder why your relationships feel shallow or strained? Well, often it's because, you know, we built these walls instead of bridges. But when we drop the mask and show up as we truly are, something really powerful happens. Real connection, real healing, real intimacy. Those things can finally begin. You know, Jesus himself, he embraced vulnerability. He wept. He suffered. He allowed others, I guess, to see him in his most human moments. Even if the Son of God modeled vulnerability, why do we run from it? Our Savior didn't lead with perfection. He led with love, honesty. He led with openness. All right, folks, think about this for a second. Healing begins where hiding ends. That's a good one. When we bring our pain into the light, we take away its power. Shame tends to grow quietly or in silence, but it'll die when spoken. Vulnerability is the tool that turns wounds into wisdom and scars into stories that my hope is you'll share and help heal other people. So how do you start this? You know, I just think you got to be honest where you are. Share your story with with someone you trust, and let go of the pressure to impress. That's the tough part. Take one step at a time towards showing up, fully and freely. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your presence. All right, let's wrap this up here, gang. Here's an invitation. Live unfiltered. When you embrace who you really are, flaws and all, you unlock flaws and all, you unlock a peace that can't be shaken, and a confidence that doesn't really depend on the applause of other people. Vulnerability won't just change your life, it will free it. That's pretty awesome. All right, how about a little call to action here, my friends? If this message stirred something, in your head or your heart, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who, you're thinking about, or who, maybe needs to hear it today. And let's continue to work together to build a community that embraces truth, love, and freedom. I think those are three great things. And all those together. Welcome to Hit the Mark today, where faith meets authenticity. Be blessed.